I start off from scratch from these only because I'm trying to get better, and I could easily just take something I've done before and be 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, already into the process. But as I do these from scratch every time, I get better and better and quicker, and pretty soon I'll be able to do what I did in this video, just getting a base figure 10 times quicker. I can already see I'm quicker than I was a month ago. And one of the important things with the arm when you're blocking it in initially, when you see an arm from the front, let's say your biceps are pointing straight forward, you can see a little bit of your brachialis, and this is on an exaggerated figure, you can see it more, and you can see your triceps from the front. You can see your triceps from the front, your biceps blocking them, but you can see your triceps from the front. However, when you look at an arm from the back, you wouldn't see the biceps, you'd only see the triceps because the triceps are wider. And you can look at it kind of like a wedge shape. The back of the triceps are wider and it narrows down to the biceps. And of course there's a front and a side and a back to the upper arms. But one of the trickier things to do is the triceps, because it's not like the back of the triceps are a flat plane facing, directly behind you. They kind of angle. Let's say you're facing to the side, they would angle towards the camera a little bit. So let's say you have someone's turning to the side and they're being photographed directly from the side. The triceps would angle towards the camera a little bit, especially the lateral head. I'll have to do a separate video on it, but there are many, many dozens of things that I encounter on this as I'm going along over the past couple months doing things like this. And I'm already starting out at a pretty high level. I've had a lot of these things published in magazines, but I haven't even begun to hit the mark that I want to, because it just takes experience. Keep doing it and do it and get better and better. Of course, if you're reverse engineering someone else's work, a model that you've purchased or obtained for free, that's perfectly okay, but you don't progress like you do when you start out from scratch, but you might not have time. So if you want to get better, it would help to start off from scratch. And in time, you'll get so quick that there's not a whole heck of a lot of difference between reverse engineering someone else's model and doing it all on your own. And this is going to end up on the Mark Anders channel, and it's going to be a morph of Rich Piana morphing into Thanos. The reason being because they look so similar. It's almost surprising that there's no lawsuit. Of course, Rich Piana's dead, but every image I see of Thanos looks like Rich Piana. I can't think of it any other way other than that. Looks exactly like, a lot like Rich Piana. And the character's played by Josh Brolin, and I guess they incorporated some aspects of Brolin's face into it, and just it happened to look like Piana, but it doesn't make it look any less like Piana when they give Thanos a similar build. Piana has a really thick upturned nose. He has a very different look, and it's one of these things, again, you got to get the preconceived notions out of your head as far as what he looks like. He's not really made up of a lot of bone structure in his face, even though he's a huge guy. I don't know what kind of work he had done to his face. He's obviously enhanced his body in some way, shape, or form beyond what everybody else has been doing, and has tattoos, etc. But I'm just getting a base form here. I'm not going for an extreme likeness to begin with. I'm just getting a base that I'm comfortable. Okay, that's something to build on. And if you want to learn anatomy, don't sculpt Piana, because he's had so much augmentation to his muscles, whatever that would have been. You can make a comment whether you think it's synthol or something else. There's who knows. He said what it is. I think it doesn't matter that much. The end result is he had kind of lopsided muscles, and the end result is inaccurate anatomy. So if you're studying from that without a base knowledge of what actual anatomy looks like, you'd be thrown. And Piana is going to be bald in this, like he has been in real life, so he'll be able to morph into the Thanos character, who's also bald. Another thing that was driven home to me more in this particular one is if you look at the cephalic vein, the main vein that goes down the center of the bicep, or the outer part of the bicep, that continues up through the deltoid, but that area in the deltoid area is the dividing line, unless you have very sloppy veins, but it's the dividing line where your deltoids are and the pectoral muscle, specifically the clavicular band of the pectoral muscle, the upper chest muscle, the part of the pectoral that is attached to the clavicle, and as you trace that down as it borders the deltoid, there's a delineation where the deltoid and the pectoral muscle meet, or side by side. In between there's the cephalic vein, and that traces down to the kind of the outer part of the bicep. So if you look at the biceps from the front, it doesn't literally mark the delineation between the front and the side bicep, but you could kind of use it as a guide. And I'll work more on the likeness and the characterizations, which will force me to characterize his muscles, like the freakish deltoids and the forearms kind of sticking out to the side, etc. Then after this, I'm going to work more on the likeness and all the idiosyncrasies of Piana's physique.